Flosstube. It's Emily C. I'm here, no makeup, haven't fixed my hair, bummy clothes. It is just that kind of Sunday. The only thing that I'm doing today, and sorry I have an eyelash that's bothering me. The only stuff that I'm doing today is stitching, laundry, and I'm gonna go for a walk. That's it. And none of that requires me fixing my hair or makeup. Outside of, do you hate it when it feels like you have an eyelash that's poking you? Doesn't matter. None of that, even filming a video, I'm feeling like is going to require me to fix my hair or put on makeup today. So it's not straightened. It's clean. It's not straightened. It is what it is. I'm trying to do a weekly video right now through Maynia so that there's not too much all at once, because what's manic for me is switching up projects through the week. I've fallen into the habit now of staying on the same project for like a week or two at a time. Generally 2 weeks here lately. So I've got to focus through the week, and I'm starting new things on the weekends. And then this past week, I also had a dark 13 stitching tossed in, which was a whip, but it's a whip that really needed some love. So we'll jump in on that. I'm talking with my hands a lot today. First thing we're going to show is what I had last weekend. And we'll just show these bags. I think Farm Girl showed these too, but I actually saw someone else show them on Instagram, which is why I bought them. These are some really, really cheap Amazon bags that are really good for small projects. Floral file folder, I think, is a good thing to search by. It takes me a day or two usually to get all of my links put in down below. So if you're like, oh, she said she'd put a link, there's not one there. I'm getting to it. It'll probably happen tomorrow. These aren't really well constructed. The fabric's kind of cheap. It's like a weird polyester. The lace is pretty, and it's got a snap button. It's felt on the inside. But you know what? For a project that is very small and you're not going to be working on that long, these are pretty nice. Wow, that's not even sewn together. That top part there, you can see. Yeah, that's okay though. That is okay. So what I've got here is Butternut Tavern that I started last weekend. This is a Stacy Nash piece. Love it. Something I have learned while working on this piece is sometime after this was created, the neighbor's dog. Sometime after this was created, and we all know that sometimes there are dye lot inconsistencies with any dyer a lot of the time. There was a time where you couldn't get the called for Otter Creek in this. Like, they were having a problem with the dye formula. You couldn't get it. But it was very similar to Brethren Blue, which is what I subbed for it. And people were using that instead, I guess. And then when Otter Creek finally came back out, it looked completely different. So I'm not crazy. It looks like Brethren Blue. I'm really happy with how far I got on this. I finished the floral border, and I finished the sawtooth border, which is supposed to be Otter Creek, but looks more like Brethren Blue. And this is on a Picture This Plus piece of PTP Velt. Sometimes you get a piece of Velt that has large patches of a brighter green in it. People say they don't like Velt because the green. The bright green, I'm not a huge fan of either. But when it comes like this piece is kind of perfection Velt. So pretty. This is a piece I would love to finish and get framed and get hung up, because it is just that beautiful. So I set this aside and I pulled Red Deer back out, because red deer is my focus. Red deer is my love. Red deer only got 3 days of work last week. Is that right? Maybe only 2. Between Dark 13 stitching and I had to teach a class for work one night and didn't get done with that until about 9 p.m. Red deer didn't get a lot of love. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I got some more work done on this big motif over here, trying to get it caught up where it mirrors the other side. We'll get there. It's coming back out tomorrow. And it's staying out until a new start on Friday. And I also have to teach class on Tuesday this week. And I think one of the people talked me into staying a little late on Thursday and doing a makeup class. But I will get to my stitching. So there's Red Deer. Dark 13. I tried to come up with a way in my head that Red Deer could work for Dark 13 and I could just keep working on it. There's nothing dark about Red Deer. There's not. It's happy, it's cheerful, it's bright colors. I needed something darker. So I pulled out something, I think I started it last Halloween. I'm on a Stacy Nash kick, apparently. Stacy Nash's stuff is what's calling for me. So I pulled out Halloween at Hollyberry Farm. Beautiful piece. It's creepy. It feels kind of like a sampler. It is a sampler. I am obsessed with borders right now. I talked about this last week. They are what's bringing me tranquility. And I got down to the turn, which means I can cut off, finally, the bottom part, all the excess fabric, and just work on the top part of this. And I can use this other fabric for something else, and I won't have quite so much wadded up around my Q-snap. I know a lot of people have commented that they really love this fabric. Unfortunately, it's something that I over-dyed myself. I had gotten a piece of fabric that I had ordered from a dyer that was not at all what the picture looked like. I didn't want to bother with sending it back because it was still nice fabric. So I dunked it in some Rit. I think I dunked it in taupe and a couple of shades of gray. And it turned out like this, which to me is a much less mottled murky. I'll get in close there. Love this border and how it's showing up on this. But anywho, I kept that out for a day longer than Dark 13. So 2 days on this got me to the bottom of that border. I can't just spend 1 day on something like that. I feel like I don't get enough to move on. I need at least 2 days on something. This is in an older So Much to Love bag that I had. That brings me to Friday, which was a new start. The Charlotte Clayton sampler. I fell in love with this sampler when I saw the finish that Nicole's needlework had. This is the antique that you can see here. Let me get a close-up where you can see. I'm going to pop up on the screen here the one that Nicole finished. Nicole did it on the same fabric that I'm doing it on, which is a Lakeside Linen Vintage Sand Dune. She did hers in the called for NPIs. NPIs are expensive. She has a huge collection, so pulling NPIs for her isn't as big of a deal. Plus, I don't really like working with silk. So I pulled the DMC And I decided I wanted to take everything about a shade darker, at least, to make it look more like the antique. So here's where I am. I have done, this is the left-hand border. I've done it all the way up to the top, which is like up here, and came across just a little. And this turn right here that I'm currently on, you can even see my needle sticking out. Let's pull that through. This turn is the bottom corner. So my plan today is to bring this around and across and kind of have this framed up. So you can see, sometimes when you have a huge piece of fabric and you're trying to work it on a Q-snap and not have it on this side so that you can get it clamped in a frame, you just end up with a bunchy mess. You can see on the back here, like it's just a wadded up mess. That's okay, because I do this all the time. As long as you don't leave it in there and you kind of hand press the wrinkles out, I've never had a problem with it. Unless it was a really loose weave linen, but I don't work with a really loose weave. So you can see I darkened the red. It's really nice. So I'm going to work on this some more today. Remember this minder, I'm going to talk about it in a minute. It was part of my haul this week from a minder seller. Love that one. There's a bunny on Charlotte Clayton, which is how that one got chosen. Let's see. So we're going to go straight into that. Go straight into a little bit of a haul. One of the bad things about Etsy is Etsy will give you a notification when somebody has added to their shop, a shop that you favorited or you've bought from a lot. I probably at this point buy most of my minders from Mad for Minders on Etsy. I'll link that down below. A lot of people ask me where I get them. I get them several places, but 80% of the time, that's where I'm getting them from. Outside of the bunny, I'm going to turn this one so you can see it better. I also got these from Mad for Minders this week. I had actually asked her to try to find a good jackalope image because I wanted some weird animals like that. So I think I grabbed the last jackalope that she had right now. Hopefully she'll print off and laser cut some more. Had to have the Plague Doctor. That sun is sampler gold. The lady was my extra that got me to free shipping. The aspirin bottle was great. And that house. Guys, it's like a haunted murder house on a needle minder. It's pretty fantastic. So those were the minders that I got. I got just a little bit of haul. Sitting around and watching Maynia Flosstube videos and being on Instagram and looking at all the Maynia stuff and people doing stash dives. This one is because of Michelle at the Striped Rose. The Jane Woodward sampler. This is an older chart. I have several by Canterbury Designs where they did like a reproduction sampler series. This one's beautiful. I would probably Emily it up and take these kind of corally colors a little darker. Take all of it a little darker. But I love it. And one of the reasons that I love it is what it says. Let all your words and actions be sincere. Dude, and it has my birthday on it. I didn't even notice that until right now. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the year is not the year that I was born, but March 25th, that's my birthday. Well, that's pretty cool. This might have to get started sooner rather than later. Somebody had actually taken a screenshot. I think it was think it was Natasha, took a screenshot of herself watching Michelle's video, and I was like, need it. And I think I found this before I even watched Michelle's video. So there's that. McKenna advertised this all over her Instagram that she was selling it in her shop, 1884 Stitchery. And I thought, that looks kind of neat. I need to go check that out. I've never seen that before. And I had to buy it. Like a cherry blossom. This is by Stitches Through the Years. And I think I saw somebody else say that the seller of this didn't have any or wasn't selling right now, and maybe McKenna's was the only place where you could get it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But this is another one where it's not super Emily looking at it here, but I could see the potential, especially with the words. I mean, this border is gorgeous. The berry baskets, the house. Let me get in where you can see that. The words say, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. It's kind of a very naturey way of saying you can't have a positive life with a negative mind, to me, which for the longest time was one of my favorite sayings. I don't know why I keep rubbing at my eyes. My hands are clean. I also got this from McKenna because one chart can't travel alone. And I actually had, if I had seen this carriage house design before, I didn't remember it, or maybe it didn't speak to me then, but it does now. Now, be forewarned, this has a decent amount of over 1 in it. So there's that. It says Autumn Blessings. I've been drawn a lot to, call like penny somethings. I forget. Anyway, the penny border or whatever it is, like the colors and the folk artness of it, I really love. But if we zoom in here, those birds in the corners, the squirrels, and the owls on top of that house, all over one. I also really like that. Over one's not terrible as long as I did it in little sections. I can't just do over one for like a week. That I'm not worried with showing. There's another shop on Etsy that I got an announcement that they had some new stuff, and sometimes she has some really awesome stuff because the name of the store is the Cross-Eye Bear. She sells gently used and often out of print patterns, and she like rotates stock seasonally when she gets new stuff in. And so I go back and check every now and then to see if there's something new. This chart I had never seen before. This is the Farewell My Friend Sampler by Hester's Needle. Can't tell a lot about it, but I knew I loved the border, the house, and the trees. Like, I loved everything about it. I almost didn't care what the verse said. But the verse says, farewell, my friend, a long farewell, a mournful sad adieu. I call to mind the happy hours so sweetly spent with you. Your gaiety inspired delight and made the moments fly, quick as the radiant beams of light that sparkle in your eye. It's fine. I think it's a beautiful piece, though. And I also grabbed this La-Di-Da chart, Miss Sarah Jane. I have a thing for thick areas of stitching, whether it be a house or a big dress or giant berry bowls, just thick, dense stitching. Even if it feels like it takes me forever and a day to get through it, the end result is beautiful. that's all of the stitching that I have to show. That's all the haul that I have to show. I want to show a couple of gifts, and then that will be it. This will be a fairly quick video, for me anyway. The first gift is something that Jim picked me up from an estate sale. He actually grabbed this a while ago, and I keep forgetting to show it. So he bought this for me in an estate sale pre-pandemic. But it's during the pandemic that I looked at it again and thought, I like that even more now. Like, thinking about what's going on now, I like this piece even more. He bought me this, which reads, "Give me time, time for patience, for understanding too, time to remember thoughtful deeds to do, time to believe in all fellow men, time to perceive the value of a friend." I just realized something on this, which I kind of love. Whoever stitched this, obviously they must have done the entire border, and then they started from top to bottom. They ran out of brown thread when they were stitching the word friend. Just trying to get the glare off, sorry. And used purple for the last two letters. Well, I can't go to the store and get more brown. I guess these letters are just going to be purple. I'm ready to be done with this. Something that I did yesterday, I drugged Jim and made him help me. We're not having a lot of court right now, and the court that we are having, we're doing online. That is starting to change. We'll see how it goes. Georgia. With that said, I'm in the office all the time now. I've been living in my office, so I'm redoing it. And we had already started painting the entire building anyway, taking it from this hadn't been repainted since the 70s, and people smoked in it, kind of dingy, creamy, baby yellow color, to a more modern pale gray. So I painted my office yesterday. Hung curtains in my office yesterday. I rearranged my furniture. And I've been going through my house, and artwork that maybe was in our old townhouse that I didn't put back up but I still love, I'm pulling those and I'm going to take them there and put them on the wall. And this is going to go on the wall in my office. And I kind of love it. She also didn't cross the stitches in that O. With all of that said, one of the best things about this piece is in pencil across the top and the bottom. On the top it says, "Love in every stitch!" exclamation mark. And it's in quotes. On the bottom it says, "Embroidered by Grammy Gray, January 1967, for her daughter, Ella C. Dearborn." I tried to look up Ella Dearborn on Facebook. I couldn't find her. Somebody stitched this for their kid, which I'm sure was an adult at the time, but still. Love in every stitch. It's going up in my office. Speaking of love in every stitch, there's something else I've been meaning to show you guys, but I keep not showing it. And it's not because I don't love it, and it's not because I just keep forgetting. My mom made me a quilt and shams. She did not hand quilt this one. This one she took to be quilted. She's not super happy with some of the things. I think she said she was going to find somebody else next time. And I can't say I blame her, because here's a big loose thread that I'm going to pull off. But my mom made me like a queen size. I can't tell what you can see. I have always loved 9-patch quilts because I love, it smells like my mom's house because she washed it, because I love all of the scrappy look to them. My mom and I went and got fabric for this together. She was like, kind of pick out some things and show me what you like. So we picked out browns and oranges and reds and greens, and some of these she filled in with, like, I don't think I would have picked out a red that bright, but my mom was like, she needs more color in her life, because that's my mom. So I'll be able to show you the pattern more on a sham. Wait, I love it. I love that my mom made me a Quilt and Shams. This will probably end up going on my guest bed, because we end up having to have a king size on our bed because Jim and I, we both steal covers. And I have the bed that we sleep in, I've had since I was a little girl. It's like an antique reproduction kind of bed. So it's higher than a normal bed. So you also want a bigger quilt because that way your box springs and everything don't show. You guys don't care what kind of bed I sleep in. So I'm happy. It's my quilt. It smells like my mom's house. And at a time where I did see my mom last weekend, we had a socially distanced Mother's Day. We could tell, and we miss Mom. We miss each other. But we could tell that Mom was really struggling with the whole not, like, getting together thing. So we planned and we went to my brother's and we did like a potluck with everybody brought their own utensils and spoons and everything, and I had hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes, and we did it outside, and family sat together, and well, my mom didn't handle that well, so she ended up coming and sitting in between me and Jim. But we made her, like, we'd spread out a little and she could sit in between us. It's hard. So we got together and ate and laughed, and it was great. And she texted me later, and she was like, this whole not hugging my children thing is for the birds. I'm just going to start hugging y'all. Sucks. But it's like a piece of my mom here with me at my house, so that's nice. Hopefully we'll be able to do stuff together soon. Because I would go up and spend the day at my mom's house and hang out with her inside and do stuff in the kitchen and hug her. She would come here and she would spend the night and goof off with me and Jim, and she and I would go shopping, or I'm getting back to Charlotte Clayton today. I'm putting her, this is the reason I didn't take her out of the Q-snap. I'm putting her right back on the frame. I'm going to go exercise, but I'm going to work some more on her border. I might toss in another small start this weekend. I mean, you never know about me. And then tomorrow it's back to Red Deer. You guys will hopefully see me again next weekend with another brand new start. And I haven't even decided what that is yet, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. Stay safe. Enjoy Stitch Mania. And put love in every stitch. Bye, guys.